I am lucky enough to own a car collection worth over £8 million. Well, I did back in 2024. Since then, the car market prices has decreased rapidly. And even collectible classics like the BMW E46 M3 have lost money. Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how much my car collection has lost in only 1 year.
I think this car has a value of...
Oh, get out. I have over 70 cars and they range from this BMW to cars like this, the legendary Lamborghini SVJ. In the last year, I've also bought some new cars which you might not have seen on the channel. And I'm going to be selling some of my cars in this video, so stick around to see if there's a car that tickles your fancy. But for now, let's start with the cheapest cars, the Mini 1.6 Cooper. Now, these are a big part of our YouTube channel and we have a lot of fun with these cars on the track in the back garden. Now, these cost me £300 and they were saved from the scrapyard. And right now they're worth a similar amount, but I'm going to put them down. These three, £250 each. These Minis are in our first category of field cars. Let's have a look at the next car. Right, next up is my BMW 3 Series. I crashed. This was valued at £1,000 last year. I'm going to say 250.
I reckon it's gone up.
The back end has. I have a few field cars which have been saved from the scrapyard, and then we give them one last good go. They don't really lose much money as they weigh in the same if working or broken. We have an Audi TT, a Mercedes with a welded diff, an MX-5 and a few purpose-built drift cars.
What?
Right, next up, a Fiat Cinquecento. Now, if you've seen the in-betweeners, you'll get why I bought this.
Bus
I wanted to do it yellow with a red door, but never got round to it. Now, this cost me £1,600 from a lovely Polish couple in Coventry. Jane drove it back and hated every single second. Now, the reason it was so much money, and it's worth that now, is because it is such good condition. And obviously, not, I wouldn't say collectible, but very rare. And in this condition, you would just never see another one now. It's no 300 quid car, but I think we have some residents.
Squeaky ones.
Yeah. It's obviously some mouses living in there. This is a very low mileage car, and because of that, I'm going to put this down at £1,000. Right, Focus ST. Now we turned this into a track car for a £5,000 challenge. Cost about £4.5 to get it to this. It's had like racing brakes, wheels, stripped out, racing seat. So much fun, I can't even begin to tell you. Value, £2,000. Okay, Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
Now, what's good about this? It is rear wheel drive. It's quite special for me as well because we did go to our proper wedding in this car. Now, I paid £5,000 for this. It was used regularly as a wedding car. Last year we valued it at £3,000. Right now, it's perfect. It just needs cleaning up. £2,500. And if you want it, please let me know.
Next up, Ford Fiesta.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Right, so this, it obviously drives backwards and it's a lot of fun. This was built for a stunt show by Terry Grant. It cost £60,000 to convert. I paid £2,500 off Sam Hard. It's still worth £2,500. But this, what a video. There's going to be a great video of this. But we've got to do a little bit of mods to make it road legal. Like have white lights on the front and red on the back. And then, imagine that down the motorway. Now this is an amphibious vehicle. It's an Argo Cat 8-wheeler and it actually floats. But now it's worth about 1,500 quid. So this cost me £3,800 and valuing it today, £3,000. Right, Subaru WRX STI. Now, if you're into driving cars, this is one of the best. 4-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, 4 seats and 4 doors. What an epic car. Huge racing pedigree from Burns to McRae to Pastrana to McCann.
Oh no! Is it really bad?
Ended up costing me about £8,000. Last year we had it down for about 10. There is bits missing, but all the bits can go back on. I think it's still worth about £8,000. They're not rare, but they're extremely difficult to find with low miles and in good condition.
That's not even, that's fully broke.
Okay, so we've got to spend 500 quid on it. Still amazing, isn't it? There's some great footage of us in this car up there. Me and Jane, like it was amazing up that field. We are very, very lucky to have that track, but this has been a big part of this house. So those are some fun cars we have for using on the track. Now let's move on to the next category of project cars. So the big question is, why have car prices crashed so much in the last year?
The global car industry is going into meltdown.
How bad is the used car market right now?
A lot of dealerships are closing down. In fact, a lot of them have closed already.
Well, during the cough, used car prices rocketed. Like for example, the GT3 RS. They were selling second hand for over 500k. That's literally double. But now they have dropped right down. In fact, this one here has dropped £40,000 in only a few months. We have simply had 3 years delayed depreciation all at once. And that has affected the entire exotic car market. I'm intrigued to see exactly how much all of my cars have lost as a whole.
So another car you brought that you ruined.
At the time, I thought this was a good idea, and I still think it looks really cool, but like you say, it's just devalued it, which is ridiculous. But it's lifted, it's a smart car, it's got off-road wheels on. It cost me 10 grand. Last year we valued it at 7. What's it worth now? Who on earth is going to buy it, but 5? Like, look how nice it is inside. Oh, no, okay. I love off-road cars. I have this epic Mitsubishi Delicia. It's a minivan on a Shogun base, so it's capable of literally going anywhere. And in the last year, it's not lost any money. Right, Mercedes Sprinter ambulance.
Why?
Jane asked exactly the same question. Senna loves it, I love it. There's definitely some amazing videos which I've got ideas for. What does this monstrosity cost me? This is ridiculous, but it cost me 7.5 grand, but it just needs a clean and a bit of a tidy up. Last year we valued it at 7. I don't know what to put it down now, probably 5, maybe 4, but there's so much fun to be had in this. I have an amazing idea for a video, but it'll probably get me into trouble.
Let's do it.
Right, Citroen Ami, it's a bit green from being parked underneath a tree. Electric car. What's really cool about this car, which doesn't work here, in France, you can drive this at 14 years old, which would be, oh, imagine me at 14 in a car. It does 28 miles per hour, but if you watch back one of our previous videos, we managed to find a downhill and managed to do 64.1 miles an hour.
Yes! 64, yeah! You see that?
Which was extremely sketchy, and the only way we managed to do it was mass. So we filled it full of weight and went down a hill. Very irresponsible, so much fun. What can I tell you? Senna learnt to drive in it when she was 3 years old. So I imported this from France when it was first out, so it was quite expensive, cost me about 10. You can actually buy them here now, I think. Last year we had it down as 8, I think now, I don't know, probably 6, something like that, but inside, I'm a big fan of that.
Simplicity.
I just love it. Now, I have a couple of project cars which I would love your help on, since I'm not capable. First up, a Mercedes 190e Cosworth. This car is very collectible, and it's the rare 2.5 engine. But what I want to do is I want to fit an Evo 2 body kit. And if you're out there and you can help, and that's the sort of thing which you want to get involved with, please hit me up on Instagram, McCann64. It's not lost any money, and it's still at £10,000. Same story for this Golf Country Synchro. This is a very rare factory-built car, designed for the mountains. I need to restore this, so I need somebody who can put a bit of time into it, paint it maybe, do all the chrome, get all the plastics back up, do the interior, redo the wheels, and this car will be worth some decent money. A lot of fun. I just wish it looked like brand new. Right, Mercedes ML63, which has had the back chopped off. Now, the reason we do YouTube is because of Ryan Taylor. He introduced me to this, so thanks to him we're doing this today. He bought me this actually. I think all in all with a conversion it costs about 20 grand, which seems a lot of money, but even the wheels are really expensive. 6.2 litre V8, absolutely amazing engine, sounds unbelievable. Side X exhaust, which Deutsch Tech did. What's it worth? We've definitely ruined it, let's face it, if we're honest. Oh, who the hell would sell it to? But I don't know. Should we say 10?
Hmm,
Would you buy it for 10?
no.
We're calling highly illegal as well. Flames coming out the side.
Alex Choi likes it.
It looks like somebody just chewed on it.
The power of the 6.2.
Talking of illegal. Why have you got that?
Who doesn't need a 5 Series 3.5 litre rear wheel drive drift car?
Police car.
I class it as a drift car. Fully working, lights work, siren works, loudspeaker works. I don't know. Honest, I love cars.
Where do you even get that from?
Million mile van. Okay, so there's a story behind this. Now I bought this from a Copart special. £1,000 it was. It's done 850,000 miles and my dream is to get to 1,000,000 miles and take it back to the factory it was built in. Value, cost me £1,000, say 800 quid. Volkswagen Caddy's great van, just needs a buff.
What the f is that?
That there is a mouse. Right, I'm gonna have to talk you through this. I love weird and wonderful motor cars, and this is on the edge of being a motor car. This does 600 miles per gallon. It's got a world record. Right, this cost me £2,500. Last year we valued it at 2.5. I have no idea. Let's just put it the same for now. Would I ever sell it? No. Would anybody buy it? Probably not. So far we aren't doing too bad on depreciation, but later there is some very bad news. Next, two of Jane's cars. This short and drop top classic mini. I bought it at the right price, to be fair, at £5,000, and it's definitely still worth that today. And this 595 Abarth, which we use when we go sunny England camping. It's lost about £1,000. So those are some project cars which we have had built or need work on. Now, the next category, I have a couple of things for sale. Right, we have 14 of these go-karts and they are for sale. I've said it before and I've never got back to anybody, but hit me up on Instagram. Now these are Biz endurance karts. They are fully refurbished. They've got the amazing Honda GX200 engine. They are disc brakes, they have fold-over pedals. They are absolutely on the button, ready to go. And if you got these from BizKarts themselves, they would be over double the price, which I'm asking. And for these, I am asking only £1,000 each. So hit me on Instagram, Mark McCann 64 if you would like one. And if you want them all, I'll do you a deal. I am selling my Brabus 125R. This is literally the only coupe in the world. And last year we valued it at £35,000. And this has gone down slightly, down to 30k. I'm also selling Jane's beautiful Fiat 500. Last year it was valued at 9,000, but in the current climate it's down to 8,000. Now, my plan is to put these into an auction and see how much profit they can make. But if anybody wants them before they go under the hammer, please drop me a message. Right, now these are my Polaris race buggies. These are so much fun. If you've ever seen motocross, this is like motocross but sat down. We do huge jumps in these, massive suspension travel, 4-wheel drive, a lot of fun. Roll cage, so it's a little bit safer than your average motorbike. Okay, so this is literally a race buggy. You can get them road registered, which they look exceptional on the road. Two for sale here, 15 grand each. So those are ready to race. Now these aren't your average buggy. This is, I won the championship in these things. They are ready to win races. Even got factory suspension, factory parts on. They are amazing. Or we've got a 2-seater version, which again, people have on the road. But again, like I won the championship in this as well. Very, very fast. Available right now. 25 for the 2-seater version. Again, you can get them road legal. So next up is the Urus Performante. Now this car has been on a massive roller coaster. When I bought it, it was going for 70 grand over because this is the ultimate family passion wagon. V8 twin turbo 4 litre with 666 horsepower. It's got carbon bonnet, carbon louvers, carbon arch trims and carbon front splitter. Now, one of the reasons why this car has lost money is because it was called a forced spec, which meant I got one of the first cars, but Lamborghini ticked all the boxes. Now, when they go to second-hand value, sometimes you don't see that money back. And this here, a window blind, £1,400. And obviously now that's gone. Oh yeah, and red paint's extra, 600 quid. Now, last year we valued this car at £300,000. And in today's market, this has taken a massive fall. In fact, it's 50 grand less than last year. But good news, we've partnered up with Click Competitions and you can win this very car, and it's live right now for 39p. Link is in the description and there's even a special discount for you subscribers. So if you're interested in any of those, please hit me up on Instagram, MarkMcCann64. So the next category is military vehicles, just in case an apocalypse breaks out. Right, now this is an American Humvee. Now it's a Hummer, but it did have a back on, which is like a military vehicle. But unfortunately, when I imported it, they took that off and said it was because it was dangerous and it was part of their military, which makes no sense because it was just a piece of metal. But this is a 6.5 litre V8 turbo diesel. Now what's special about this? Number one, it weighs 3 tons. The other, to fill it full of fuel, costs £250 and it does 4 miles per gallon, which basically means for me to get to Nando's and back, it's going to cost me £35.
Ouch. But at least if a war breaks out between here and Nando's.
If there isn't a apocalypse, if there is an apocalypse, if there is a how'd you say it?
Apocalypse.
If there is an apocalypse, we're good. And as you can see, it's been fitted with a fat stereo system and some mood lighting. Now value, I paid £30,000 for this. Last year we valued it at 30. And right now, I'd say it's got to be exactly the same. It's very collectible, it's very cool, it's like brand new, it just needs a good old clean. And if you have got a Humvee back, please let me know. And next is my tank. So this is a Sabre CVRT. Now it's a petrol engine, a Jag engine, but the most important thing is this is road legal, and I have passed my H test, which means I'm fully legit legal to drive this on the road down to the shops and back.
Right.
Should be interesting. Right, now I paid £40,000 for this. This is a mad world we live in, and because of the battles and the ongoing conflict in this world, it's actually gone up. Last year we valued it at 50 and it's still worth 50 grand today, which is absolutely mad. These are some really cool military vehicles to have, but now let's move on to many people's favourite skid cars. Now next up is my BMW M3s. Now, I was always a Merc fan, but until I got these, I realised what all the hype was all about. They look great, they sound great, they drive great, but more importantly, they are so usable. They are such a great car that I have even considered buying the new shape, the G80 M3. And one way I could do that is by using Lilly & Stanley Finance. They are a private finance company, which means their rates can be considerably less than a main dealer. But before I show you the crazy savings that you can get, let me show you more around this E92 M3. Now, because these are so usable, it's always a downside to find a really good collectible version. And what I mean by that is a manual gearbox coupe with low mileage. Now the best thing about this car is how it sounds. A 0 to 60 is only just over 4 seconds. And bearing in mind, this car is 15 years old. And it has done quite well because it's just getting to that stage where it is a classic collectible. Now this cost me £21,000. Last year we valued it at the same, and right now I think we could still get all the money back. So it's been a good investment. But unfortunately, to my massive surprise, the E46 M3 is not the same story. And that's why when buying a new car, it's important to save as much money as possible. And that's what Lilly & Stanley Finance specialise in. Let's use this example, a BMW M3 Comp. From the main dealer, the interest rate is 13.9%, which makes a monthly payment of £579 per month. But Lilly & Stanley is 8.9%, which means a lower cost of £494 a month. That's £85 a month cheaper. And over the term, that's a saving of £7,680. Obviously, a huge amount of money. Now, the E46 M3, and this is why I'm surprised that this has lost money. This is 22 years old and it has a 0 to 60 of 4.6 seconds. It is the perfect car power to weight ratio, and it is a dream to drift around this track. Again, this is the perfect collectible. It's low mileage, it's manual, and it's the coupe version. But This is where it surprised me, the money. Now last year we valued this at £28,000 and I thought it would never go backwards. But right now we're going to have to put this down at 25 grand. It's lost £3,000 a year. I never thought that would happen. So to save yourself some money on finance when you're buying your next car, you can use Lilly & Stanley's online calculator, and obviously that's available 24 hours a day. And to save yourself some money immediately, you can use Lilly & Stanley to refinance a deal you already have. So you are literally a few clicks away from potentially saving yourself hundreds of pounds a month in finance. Link is in the description for the online calculator to see if you can save yourself a bit of money. Thank you Lilly & Stanley for sponsoring this video. Right, on with the car collection. I have two drift cars. This E92, which we converted for a previous video with a budget of £3,000, and this luxury 750i limousine, which is a very comfortable drift car. It's even got massage seats. So with all the BMW skid cars out of the way, let's move on to one of my favourites, hot hatches. Right, now this is a very, very cool car. A45 Yellow Night Edition, only 80 got brought into the UK. Now I bought this, you find these every now and again, it was on Kazoo. So it was priced as just a normal A45, so we got it as a bit of a bargain. But beautiful Alcantara seats, 380 horsepower, 2-litre injection engine, 0 to 60 of about 4 seconds. Sounds amazing. That's standard. Really, really cool car. Cost me 35 grand. I use it a lot. It's now done, don't worry about the service light, it has been serviced. Done 32,000 miles and a lot of those are smiles. Use it a lot, working back. So I paid 35, last year we had it down as 25. What's it worth now? 20, something like that, but an absolutely brilliant car. Clio RS18, if you watch the channel you know how much I love this car. Very, very cool car. I use this car a hell of a lot. 0 to 60, I think it's about 4.5 seconds. Limited edition car now, only 15 came into the UK right hand drive, and this is an actual plaqued car at number 73.
Even Lambo don't do that.
I know, it's amazing. What a car. Manual handbrake, which I love and never use any for parking. Sequential paddles, put it in RS mode, it pops and bangs. Can't say enough about this car. Cost me 18 grand. What's it worth now? I don't know, probably about 14, because it is a very, very limited special edition car. I love this car. I love a French Renault hot hatch. So whilst we're still on hot hatches, let's go from modern to some of my classics. Right, Peugeot 205 1.9 GTI in cherry red. This was always a dream of mine to have one of these cars. Only just recently bought it, and this morning in the freezing cold, what was one of the only cars which started, Reese?
That dinosaur.
Ridiculous, but only recently bought this. We've done a video on it if you want to check that out on the second channel. But yeah, what a car. Again, French hot hatch, which I absolutely love.
First time.
I have used this quite a few times recently. So I paid 12.5 grand for this. It's definitely worth the same amount of money now. Now, they are worth more than that if you get a Concours edition. This has done over 100,000 miles. I have got a collectible version, the same inside, but I wanted something I could almost daily, and that's why I bought this car. Yeah, love it, absolutely love a French hot hatch. So this is the collectible one. It's a phase one, it's done about 70,000 miles, and it is like brand new inside and out. Now this car's value is a classic sign of where we are in the world right now. Now, I paid £7,000 for this. Last year we valued it at 20, which was probably a little bit low. What's it worth now? I don't know, maybe 15 or something like that, and that's the sort of jump down which collectible cars have had at the minute. So not great news, but I'm sure hopefully one day it will go back up again soon. But so the direct competitor to the 205 GTI, this was like the other side. This is like your Man City, Man U. Now this Renault 5 GT Turbo, a really great collectible car. Again, it's lost value, but again, that's just how things are at the minute. I only paid £5,000 for this, and last year we valued it at 20. Where it's at now, I'd probably say about 15, which is really, really disappointing. But again, Hopefully with time it'll go back up again. It seems like a lot of the classic car prices have dropped, even including Jane's Fiat 500 Nuova. I did mess up on another video buying this and I paid too much money at auction, and I think this year it has lost £8,000. But to be honest, it was worth every penny just for this reaction.
I love it.
I knew you'd love it.
Oh my god.
It's ace, isn't it? Right lads, listen and learn. That's 1,000 brownie points, giving me a pass to buy a few more cars. I do have two very rare cars which haven't lost money, and that's because of literally how rare they are. This Aston Martin Signet, worth £30,000, and the very special Clio V6, which is worth 40 grand. Right, we're going to get onto these a little bit later because obviously this video is about the devaluation of cars. And some of these obviously have had a bad year, but we've got a special guest coming in to help us, to give us the exact price of what they're worth retail value. Next up, this will be a lot of people's favourite car, my Ford Escort RS Cosworth. This is where this is a bit mad. This has done 25,000 miles from new. And as a collector, this is such an amazing car to have in a car collection. I always wanted one as a kid. They were always nicked. If you looked in the rear mirror, all you saw was a police car chasing them usually. But it just needs a bloody good clean, a bit of work done on the electrics, new front splitter. It cost me 36 grand, which now seems ridiculously cheap, but that's what they were worth when I bought it. What's it worth now? Like, I've seen them go up to like 80 grand. Obviously this right now isn't worth 80. If this was tidy, it would be worth 60, something like that's 25,000 miles from new, and it's like brand fine new inside. Probably put 50 grand on it, but we are going to make a video restoring this very car. So if you're enjoying this video and you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed.
This one's been sat here for a while.
It's greener than the Cosworth, isn't it? Now this is a very, very cool addition to our house. My friend Brett made this, very, very clever lad. It's Ayrton Senna's very famous McLaren MP46, probably the most famous Formula 1 car he drove. I'm massively into my racing. My daughter's called Senna, and when I come out that house in the morning and look across the drive and see this, you realise just how lucky you are. But what an amazing structure to have out the front of the house. Right, next car. So this here is the pinnacle of the Bentley Continental, the Super Sport. Now this legendary W12 engine is 6 litre and it is 620 horsepower. And this does 204 miles per hour, which is crazy. Now, I got it for a bargain, £55,000. What's it worth now? Again, I think this is one which has took a little bit of hit in today's climate. I think it's probably worth about 50 right now as it stands, which is a bit of a shame because I did think this was going to appreciate an asset and I thought this was always going to go up. But yet again, I was wrong. Right, now this is the absolute pinnacle of Mercedes elegance and luxury. A Mercedes 600. This thing is absolutely massive. The whole car is hydraulic. The boot is ridiculous. Fingers. There we go. Oh, mine fingers, should have read that first. I don't know a lot about them, to be fair, but what I do know is it is the absolute pinnacle of Mercedes.
Dictatorship. Communism.
People who had a 600 almost always had access to an Air Force. That's why nobody carves it up. Partly because it's got the loudest horn in the world.
It's like a ferry. It's not even a lorry, it's a ferry. And look. Ow! The ice blasters came and cleaned all the engine. Made an amazing job, but look at that for a piece of engineering. Here we go.
This is from the time when they didn't really care about polar bears.
So this cost at auction £95,000, which let me tell you, for a right-hand drive, black with these miles in this condition, is an absolute bargain. What's it worth now? Going to put it at 105, so at last a car which is going up. Now these two next cars are maybe my favourites out of the whole of the collection. The Mercedes C63 Black Series. Now two of the most collectible cars Mercedes have ever done. 6.2 litre V8 naturally aspirated engines. They are absolutely beautiful. Both have the much desired aero kits. This is a 2-seater, this is a 4-seater. This has done 15,000 miles. This has done 4,000 miles. Now this white one seems like a bargain. £91,000 I paid, and that was through profits of stamps, which you'll see very soon in a video on our Mark II channel. Last year we valued this at 150. Today, just in case, we're going to say 140, but honestly I don't believe they've actually gone down. And this one, 4,000 miles, it cost me £95,000. Now last year we valued it at 170. This year we're going to bring it down to 150 just in case. But these are absolutely beautiful and one of the favourite cars I own. And in fact, if somebody said to me you can only keep one car, it would be that white one. These two are very limited rare Mercedes, but not even close to as rare as this. Right, this car is a real unicorn, a very, very special car, a CLK DTM. Now to give an example, Enzo, they made 600. A LaFerrari, they made 500. This car here, they only made 100 pieces and only 15 of those were right-hand drive. And here is one of those. And this is the perfect car. It's the perfect colour. It's only done 17,000 miles from new, but look at it inside. Like, bear in mind, this car is 20 years old. It is carbon fibre and Alcantara everywhere. Some ridiculous modifications of these wings where they sort of forgot about the fuel cap. I bought this for £250,000, which at the time was an absolute steal. Last year we valued it at 400. What's it worth now? I'd like to say 400, but I don't think we'd be able to sell it for that. So I really think, realistically right now, I think this has dropped as much as £50,000 to sell it, which is crazy that a CLK DTM could be losing money, but that is where we are sat at right now. Even one of the world's most collectible cars has gone south. It's definitely been an up and down roller coaster for some of the classics, and it's the same story for the rally cars. Because of their history and pedigree, some of the cars have held their money well, like this rallycross Peugeot 208. It's world champions Timmy Hansen's actual race car. I'm super lucky to have this car, and even better than that, it's not lost any money. Now, if you are a fan of the channel, you will know last year I ticked a car off my bucket list with this. Now this is something that I've always dreamt of having, and finally I ticked that box. So this is a Group B rally car. Now, to give you an idea how special this is 40 years old, okay? A LaFerrari right now will do 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. This can do it in 2.3 seconds. Now just imagine 40 years ago, and that's how dangerous this car is. They eventually got banned because they were so fast. Unfortunately, they killed drivers and the people watching in the spectator area. But look at that. That is literally an engine and 2 seats. Like, that is basically a bomb. Yeah, just an absolute joy to own. But it was very, very expensive. Now, I swapped my RS200 and some money for this, my red one. This is £350,000, but it's worth that today, now, and in the future. It's 100% only going to go up in value, but what a car. But unfortunately, it's not the same story for my Ford RS200. Now this cost me £207,000, had it quite a few years. It went up to about 300, but again, sign of the times, these Group B rally cars, they just went up, 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 up. Last year it was worth about 300,000, and to be honest, now if I wanted to sell this, I think I'd have to take 250. So again, a massive loss, 50 grand in 1 year on something again which I thought would never ever lose a penny. I always thought this was going to go up.
What is that?
Right, now you might not have ever seen this on the channel. I've never actually ever driven this car. Now this was built for me, it's a recreation of the legendary Audi short wheelbase. So it was basically made by Audi themselves between an Audi 1800, they cut them up and made one ridiculous car to go rally racing. Again, a Group B legend. Now this was made for me for a 40th anniversary Audi, and it is stunning. But the best bit, it runs on methanol and it's 650 horsepower.
Nice.
It is ridiculously quick, all electronic dash. Cost me £85,000 to get it to where it is now. Last year we valued it at 85, and to me, I think it's worth that every day of the week. If you were going to try and make this yourself, it would cost you an absolute fortune. Yeah, this is a recreation, unfortunately. If it was a real one, it would be worth about 2 to 3 million. The most iconic Group B rally car that is the Audi S1. It is stunning. And basically this is the iconic rally car of its time. Just the spoilers, the wings, it is ridiculous. Fantastic car, recommissioned. It cost me about £100,000 to make this rally version of the road going version. Last year we valued this at 100 grand, and it's definitely sat at exactly the same price again. Like, that car is never going down in value.
So for the most part, because I've bought the right cars, the rally cars have done really well. Now this car is an incredibly special piece to have in my collection.
So if you are into racing and motor racing, and you like your YouTube and you're into your cars, this is an absolute piece of history. I bought this car before, unfortunately, the legend Ken Block passed away. I bought it about 6 months before his accident. Now this car is very, very special. It's done Gymkhana 6, Gymkhana 8, Terracana, Gymkhana Grid, World Rally Championship. This car has done everything, and all by the legend Ken Block. 0 to 60, 1.8 seconds. Sounds absolutely insane. It's had a cheetah in that seat. It's raced Lewis Hamilton. So what's this worth now? Now, I paid £350,000 for it. Obviously, unfortunately, because of the circumstances of what happened, it has rocketed in value, which, you know, is not ideal. A guy in Dubai offered me 3 million. It's still worth that now. But one thing's for certain, this, whenever I walk past it, gives me goosebumps, and it is a legendary car and something very special for our channel.
Now we are down to the final few cars, and we have saved the best till last. And these cars are going to need a professional to help us give accurate values, as these cars' prices can move daily.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
For these cars, we thought we'd pull in the professional.
Well, you know, I'm here anytime I'm on call now. I'm your, like, new neighbour.
So he was busy. So
All right, okay.
Right, big cars. Obviously, be interesting to know on these, because I'd imagine it's not good news on most of them, unfortunately. But
Well, a bit's changed since I was here last time, but only on some cars. Some cars are still okay.
First, the Mercedes G63, a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 grunt machine.
right, first up, G-Wagon.
Yep,
It was your wife's car.
it was.
Now it's my wife's car. White underneath,
Yep.
but a
I remember
massive
the spec.
spec.
I remember the spec. I can't remember the
Why
age.
do you remember the spec?
I remember the spec because it ruined my day. That's why I remember the spec. She was like, "Oh, look what I done." Oh God. Can remind me of the age. Is it a 20?
23?
23, yeah, 23. With how many miles?
34,000.
34,000 miles.
Happy miles.
Yeah.
Kids in the back,
Kids in the back.
feet on the back of the seats.
How is the white seats? Are they okay?
Jane and Senna love this car.
Yep.
Love it. Best thing she's ever driven in. Like, just everything she wanted, and when we've had it, it's ticked all the boxes.
And it's a timeless design.
Yes.
Timeless
Yes.
car, timeless design. You know, they're not going to bring a new model out next year which looks completely different.
Obviously it's black now.
Yeah.
You're a fan of the black?
Considering I paid £9,000 for a one-off white colour, no, I'm not a fan of the black.
I only said it to wind you up.
Yeah.
So price, I bought it off you for 138. Jane's done quite a few miles. So where are we at now?
I think price on this car is 125,000.
So that's done really well. Like £30,000, a ridiculous amount of money, but for something of this value and that many miles and that long, that's
It's done
good.
really well for you. I paid 199,000 or 201,000 for it.
Thank you so much for that.
No problem at all. Call on me anytime.
Next up, the monster Brabus 850 GLE Coupe. 6-litre bi-turbo V8 tuned to a whopping 850 horsepower. It's a next level unicorn car, so not easy for car to value.
Right, this is a difficult one.
This is a difficult one.
Like, because there is none for sale, downside, left-hand drive.
Well, no, that's not a downside, actually, because the market for these cars is Europe.
Yeah.
Brabus make the most money in Europe. So, you know, you see Brabus G-Wagons in this country, but you don't see Brabus GLEs, S-Class, you know, other models, E-Class, you don't see them, but you do in Germany.
For me, this car, like, apart from being left-hand drive and brown interior, I love driving this car.
Yeah.
Just because it pops and bangs.
I think you've got to give it a rev.
When I add this red,
There's not many better sounding SUVs than that, is there?
No.
And what people must not get confused with Brabus, and this car in particular, is this just hasn't got a kit and some wheels. This has the full 850 Brabus engine upgrade, which obviously is where the money is.
I think this car new, I'm sure it was about 300 grand.
Yeah,
It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Yeah.
So last year, this was 170. We valued it at 170.
Yeah.
But again, I suppose, is this the market changed on this?
Well, obviously it's a year older, there'd been more miles, you have to allow for that.
Yes.
And it's not an appreciating asset, so you've got to throw in a year's use.
Yes.
Or 18 months use. So, you know, I think it's probably 130.
Okay. When does it become an appreciating asset?
It doesn't.
Brilliant.
It doesn't. No. Maybe in 3 owners' time.
So when to sell it is as soon as possible.
Yes, that car will not be worth as much as it is right now, ever.
Wow, £40,000 in just 1 year is a big loss. But unfortunately, that's nothing compared to what's coming up. The Honda NSX 3.5 litre V6 turbo. It's a hybrid, so helped with the 3 electric motors, this car does 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds and a top speed of 191 miles per hour. It's a rocket ship.
Right, another car I bought from you.
Yes, you did.
I can't say enough about this car. It is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this car.
And you know what, I don't get it.
To drive, I think it does everything. It's fast, it's sporty, it's comfortable, it goes sideways, it drifts. I just think it's amazing, but nobody else seems to.
Well, you say that. These have done quite well since you bought this car.
Yeah, so I paid you 104.
Yep.
Last year we valued it at 95.
Mm-hmm.
It's done, I've hardly used it since.
Yeah.
If that can help.
Now, I've got to value the car as not your car. That
Yes.
you've kindly drifted in your back fields for the last 2 years.
Well, delete that video.
Yeah, okay, just delete that video. You know, I think it's worth the same.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they've gone down at all. They did go down.
Yeah, yeah, they
So
did,
they
didn't
went to about 80, and then once again, it's supply and demand. I think in the UK at the minute there's probably 10 cars for sale, which isn't many.
Yeah.
So it's pushed the price back up.
Yes, there's not very many white as well.
Why don't you wrap it in matte black and just get rid of the nice white that there is? Like, it's not like you haven't done it before.
The Lamborghini Huracan Storato, the epic V10 5.2 litre naturally aspirated 610 horsepower. The crazy off-road version from the Italian supercar brand.
Right, Storato, for me, amazing. It's a supercar without the supercar problems, so you can park it anywhere, don't have to worry about potholes, multi-storey car parks, speed bumps. It does everything, and I know this is going to be a bit of a loss.
Okay, number one, stand back and just open your legs a little bit. I'm gonna go for it. So I'm a massive fan of this car.
Yeah.
I think these are amazing cars. I enjoy driving this Lamborghini more than any modern Lamborghini.
Same.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think they've done terribly in the last 12 months, value-wise.
For sale now, you know, and like they seem to have like drizzled out.
And I was about to say, I think at the value they are now, they're such a good buy.
Yeah.
They're such a good buy. And it sounds amazing.
This, as I was about to say, this sounds better than any Huracan I've ever driven.
Yeah. You can, this is, when people say, oh, you can daily that car, no, you can really daily this car. I don't care what your job is or where you're going, you can daily that.
Yeah. Now, the bad bit, and I've seen on the internet, it's not good news.
What we have to remember as well with these cars is there's the range of spec costs are quite big.
Massive.
So this is quite a standard car.
Yes.
You know, it's not a special colour. It doesn't have the livery, which are stickers, which are 18 grand or something.
I'm glad it doesn't have the stickers.
Well, for £600, I could get you as many stickers as you want. Send it to Yanni, he'll do whatever you want him to do.
So last year we valued this car at £300,000. So what's it worth today?
I think this car has a value of 200,000.
Oh, get out.
Unfortunately, I do, but not to say that it won't increase, because I think they will. But right at the minute, there's been a few sell recently, and that's what they're selling for.
200.
Yeah.
That's a massive blow. Such a special car losing £100,000 in value in just 1 year. But why?
This time last year, this car was overs.
Yeah. Well, they had a short span of being an overlist car, and once again, like we said earlier on the video, there's certain cars that have done well and certain cars that haven't, because of the hype has calmed down.
Yeah, because this was a very the
it's
Dakar.
never been done before.
Yeah.
And you know, Porsche Dakars were making big money over list.
Yeah,
they're
they
not
were.
anymore.
No, same.
So it's the same kind of thing. It's super cool. It's such a great car for 200,000. I mean, I don't know many cars, because it's a new car. It's 2023.
Yeah, 23 is
So
23.
when I look at cars at 200,000, there's a lot around there at the minute. I bought an Aventador S yesterday, which is a bit more than 200,000, but it's there or thereabouts. You can buy a Ferrari 812 Superfast for there or thereabouts, but these are 2018 cars.
Yes.
We're talking this free service pack, warranty, not even a couple of years old, and that's 200,000. I think these are a great buy, and I really like these cars.
That is good news for a buyer who steps into one today. Unfortunately though, bad news for me. But even worse if you bought a used Sterato at overlist when they had all the new car hype. Let's hope my other Huracan is in a better place. The STO, the Lamborghini race car version. Still the V10 5.2 litre, but this time the huge difference, rear wheel drive. But let's hope it's done better than the Sterato.
It's funny, like the STO, for me, this is the best looking Huracan they ever made. But with that rear wheel drive, like, it can really catch you.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
catch you.
But that's, you know, it's quite cool. It's a fun thing.
Wing amazing, seeing the wheels underneath amazing.
I think it looks amazing. I think the louvers, it's a completely different body. It's not just a Huracan. You know,
it was only the doors which are the same.
Yeah. I mean, everything else is completely different. I love the roof scoop. It looks like it's been McCann. I like the car. I prefer a Sterato, but these are still a fantastic car.
Right, 4,000 miles I've done in this.
2 years driving.
2 years. Now, not a massive spec, but colour was expensive. This is balloon white, beautiful colour.
I like blue one.
280 I paid for it. Last year it still sat at exactly the same price of 280. Go on.
I mean, 260.
Really? That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I was expecting worse.
No, they're doing well. They're doing well. They're a good car. They're beautiful, and there's not many of them.
No, my God, what a different colour combinations there are. There's like
People got funky with it.
Yeah. Purple and yellow.
Purple and yellow. I mean, yeah, got loads of views, but it don't look very good, does it?
It's like I was smoking something when I spec this thing.
The Ferrari SF90 4-litre twin-turbo V8 hybrid with qualifying mode. This car's 0 to 60 is faster than today's Formula 1 cars. This car is over 1,000 horsepower, and it's one of my latest cars to the collection. And my God, what a car it is.
It's red.
It's red.
Oh,
you can change it into black and white. You know how long I wanted one for?
Yep.
For a long time, and you told me to wait because it was the ones I was looking at was too expensive.
Yep.
And like somebody's, well, a few people have had very, very bad days, haven't they?
Yeah.
In the devaluation. The most impressive thing is obviously speed, but it's ridiculous.
One of my favourite cars. One of my favourite cars. So usable.
Yes.
So powerful. So quick. I mean, there's nothing.
Only when you
quicker
want
than
it though. That's
Yeah,
a good thing.
but-
You don't have to have
And
it.
it's got that four-wheel drive function that it doesn't want to kill you. You know,
No.
it's very usable. I'm standing by them, and I'm saying, you know, they will increase in value.
Yeah, you said that before. Yeah.
I believe they will. I believe they will, because they've done so badly from new price.
Can't get any worse.
It's hard to think that this is going to get any worse. As an example, I just sold one of these cars that had an Assetto Ferrano package. The new invoice price was 530,000, and I sold it for nearly 200,000 behind list, and it had done 2,000 miles.
One owner.
One owner.
Oh, jeez.
One owner.
I remember when I first started looking one, it was 380, and you said don't do it.
Yep.
They'll be at 330, and you said you'll find me one at 330, and it came even lower than that.
Yeah. I think you had a good deal on that car, and I think the value of this car is still at 300,000.
Yeah. So dropped a tiny bit.
Oh yeah, but it's you know, it's a set of tyres.
Is it?
Well, ish.
The Lamborghini Revuelto, Lambo's answer to the Ferrari's SF90. Again a hybrid and again 1,000 horsepower, but this car has jaw-dropping scissor doors and it packs the amazing sounding V12. But where is the price compared to a Ferrari SF90?
Right, Lamborghini Revuelto.
Yes.
The cool kid, probably overtaken from the GT4 RS. This is now, would you say this is the car?
I mean, this certainly was the car a year ago.
Yeah.
These were the much hyped, massive waiting lists. Can't get them. 1,000 brake horsepower, still a V12 Lamborghini.
Yes, and that's important, isn't it? That V12 thing, because obviously the hybrid thing, you might have lost that V12 and gone down to V10, but luckily, and fantastic for Lamborghini, they kept it.
Oh, it's so important for Lamborghini to keep their flagship models at V12.
Which has been forever, or even back to the Miura.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost unquestionable for them to take that away.
Take that away, yeah. So, where are we standing? Because obviously these were fetching good money overs, weren't they?
They were.
Like some were, like whether they were selling, some were like, what, 800?
Oh, I've seen them cars, but that's just, again, that just makes me laugh when these dealers don't know what they're doing. They have a contact who's on the early list at Lamborghini, and they've said, I think I can get you 300,000 over list for your car, purely to stick it in the showroom, take a picture and say, oh, we've got one.
Got for sale.
Just absolute waste of time.
Yeah.
So no, they were never at that. To be fair, they were probably 100 over list.
And people were obviously buying them at 100 over
Yeah,
list.
they were 100 over list. I sold one for 100 over list.
Yeah. So 490 retail, what are we thinking?
490.
Really? So
I
we're
think if
still-
I put this car up at 490 tomorrow, it would sell.
Okay, so that's so it's done, and that's partly because of the spec.
You would think this is good news, but only 3 months ago, Car valued this exact car at £550,000. Back then, it was the new car and the market was strong, so it actually increased in value.
Bad news for someone who paid 100,000 over list.
Yes.
6 months ago, because literally in that 6 months, all the premium's gone.
And what I guess again, the longer you keep it, the more you're going to lose.
Yeah, it's not. This is not an appreciating asset. This is going to go down. This will probably go down 50,000 in the next 12 months, in my opinion. So if we're here next year and you've still got it, the car will be 450, 440, 450.
Do you think I'm going to have it in a year if it's going to lose 50? For sale.
Do you want to go get my checkbook now?
And the final car before we tot up all the losses. The epic Aventador SVJ, raw naturally aspirated V12 engine with the Deutsche Tech DTX exhaust. It sounds as crazy as it looks.
Do you have a nickname for this car?
Rockbox, because it was.
And that is your nickname?
Yeah, that was the original car, but like you know, when people talk about the last of the petrol car, the last of the naturally aspirated car, this is the pinnacle of that, isn't it?
This was a big car for Lamborghini.
Yes. Now special because, again, limited number, 900. Very disappointed not plaque numbered.
Yeah.
But it's still a limited edition car,
Yep.
which obviously helps in desirability, resale, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So how has the final car of the collection done? Has it made or lost value?
So this was a 379, 380 list. Last year we did it at 360.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's probably back at what you paid for it, 380.
380.
Yeah. Listen, if the car was a 3,000 mile non-Mark McCann car, you know, it would be 450.
Is that how much they've gone to?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming again.
Pleasure, as always.
A good ending, but a lot of this video has seen cars losing money. So let's find out the bad news. In just 1 year in these uncertain times, how much has the collection lost?
So I'm really grateful to have such an amazing car collection, and of course the values over the years have gone up and down. Now last few years the value has definitely gone up, but in 2024, in the last 365 days since we did this car collection last year, the value of the whole collection has dropped £500,000, which is devastating, but that is the price to pay for such an amazing collection in such bad times. So let me know in the comments please what car you would have in your car collection. We will see you next Tuesday, 6 PM.